Hello everyone and welcome back to Every Heart Can Dance. This is Kyryl and today we are continuing to develop our international style samba. Over the last 3 weeks we have had a variety of coordination exercises that make up that system of samba and gives us really true feeling of samba music and how to match that music with movement together. Please continue to practice it. Please focus on more single actions and exercises first before creating a bit more complex coordinations. Please do it very, very slowly. The slower you go, the faster you actually will get that proper coordination. Don't rush it, don't do it too fast. Stick to one exercise for some time before moving or adding anything to it. So, today we will start applying those exercises on actual samba figures. And today we will start from a figure called whisk. Alright, let me share with you a couple very simple secrets to make it work for your whisk, to still feel comfortable and very rhythmical, very bouncy with your actions. So number one, our position, and slightly different probably from the way you did before. I actually going to keep my standing foot straight flat, whereas the back foot, back leg will be crossed behind. And if you notice what it does, it actually slightly turns my body. This is the comfortable position to cross our legs. We do not cross our legs in this position because every time then we start going up on toe, we're actually falling off that standing foot. So by placing the foot straight and crossing the leg in this position, bottom part will be slightly diagonal, whereas the upper part will still stay to the wall that you're practicing. I'm towards the camera right now, you can be towards mirror, towards wall, what have you, yes? So, position straight, bottom part, because of this leg crossing, being behind, the bottom part will turn slightly. I will soften my knees, that will be my starting position. The bounce starts down, but figures actually start up. So this is our starting position. I'm starting to grow on my standing leg. And when I'm straightening my knee, my hip, my pelvis, this part is actually going forward on top. Now I'm right on top of my foot, on top of the ball foot, and it's very easy for me to go up. Do you see that right now? We're in very comfortable position. Very simple. So, and on count down, in order to move this leg, I actually going to have slight rotation. You can even think about it as a hip action. Duh. That's the position to make it, to be prepared to go to the side. I transfer weight and then bend both knees. One, both knees. Growing and, but I'm still keeping this foot on inside leg, inside pressure, inside foot pressure. And in the very last moment, because of that growth and holding, I will release it and my thighs will clap like scissors. Shoo! And I'm in the same position as I started, where this back leg crossing, Latin cross, behind, where upper part still stays in this position. Replace, and transfer weight, 2. Come back and, one, and last moment closing, 2, and 1, and pressure here to make it kind of more tense, and then very last moment, scissors will close, 2, 1, and 2, 1, and 2. Now if you notice, I slightly separated that gathering the leg, and 1, now I'm growing first, creating tension between the thighs, between the legs, and then in the last moment, I close my thigh first in order to create that replace action. Replace. The faster you close here and the faster you collect the legs, the better your replace will be. Imagine that you're throwing something from one hand to another hand. You have a ball and you're throwing. The more distance between your hands, the more difficult to catch. The closer they are, to move ball from one hand to another hand, very easy. So in order to move that, and we had that replace action that we talked about before, try to collect your thighs super fast in order to be able to have very, very fast replacement away from one leg to another leg. Yes, you might have seen top dancers having a bit of space, but they still can manage their weight transfer from one leg to another leg. I would strongly recommend, after this growth, collect it first when you're doing slowly without music, and then do your replace. And one, and collect, replace. Once you're doing it faster, once you're doing it with the slower music, which we'll try later a little bit today, try to go one and two, one and two. It will come almost effortlessly together. It will be combined together. So let's give it a try one more time. So we have one and two, one and collect, replace, one and collect, replace. That's the idea of our whisk. Let's take a look from the back. So we'll start on the right foot this time. Foot is straight, pointing towards wall that you're standing, towards wall that you're facing. The free leg crossing behind, Latin cross. That will create slightly diagonal position of your hips, body still towards the wall. Soft knees, and we grow. Now we're right on top of the leg. That will be count. And up on toes, we go one, and grow. In last moment, we'll gather in thighs. Again, in the same position as we started from. In order, again, that the leg is slightly behind, our upper part stays. Now creating replace. Two, and one, and two, one, and collect, two. Do it together, and two, one, and two, one, and two, one, and two. And if you noticed, I have a pretty small step doing the bounce. I'm not trying to make it too big. Yes, because I'm bending both knees and focusing more on the bouncing rhythm, bouncing action, rather than creating line. This is a 3/4, quarter one. 3/4, quarter one. So we don't have that much time to create a very long line in this position. Plus, we're not moving. Whisk is not a moving action. So there is not much need to create the line, but there is much more need in making it looking more bouncy. Think in this way. The more closer your legs together, the more bounce you have. The more bigger steps and more progressive movements, the more lines you create. Hence, I'm focusing more on creating bounce rather than trying to jam the line in here, and which will make us a little bit more tighter, more stronger, and strong, tighter looking, rather than creating more looser, much more fun, much more bouncy action. That's the idea for the whisk. Alrighty guys, just to summarize what we just covered, starting from the position, foot is straight, crossing, Latin cross behind in the way that the hips are pointing slightly diagonal, whereas upper part stays. That was point number one. Point number two, we are growing first, and only after going up on toes to propel ourselves to push our weight. Lowering, bending both knees. Growing again first, and then last minute we actually collect our thighs first, and then creating the replace. Again, growing, one, and two, and one, and growing first, last minute closing, replace. Don't worry to make it very choppy, very rigid yet, because you need to go to those checkpoints. Straight, up on toes, lower bend, grow, collect, replace, grow up, lower, grow, collect. And then the more you practice, the more smoother you can connect it, and the more easier it will be for your body to understand what you're going through. Very common mistake, people starting to go to the side too early. 1, 2, 1. You have to understand that we have to grow on the leg. We're right on top of it, then we can go. In this position, our weight is actually not on top of the ball fully yet. Yes, it's kind of on the foot, on the middle part, maybe even to the back if we're collecting it in here. Yes, so you don't want to go to the side too early. You want to grow you on top of it, knee back, hip forward, then you can propel that weight. So the sequence that we had for exercise is paramount in our figures. Please practice. Please let me know in the comments below if you find it useful. If you have any other questions, again, more than happy to respond to it. Shoot it to me and I'll be more than happy to sort it out. And actually, if there are enough questions, I can talk about them in the video as well. Thank you much for following. Thank you for watching. Please share the video. Please subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week. Thank you.